A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib
Like I'm Gatsby.
I
Need
need it in
it.
hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do, and they can't compete, and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been
Guess who's back? He's back. Yeah. Let's go, man.
You gotta hit the funk flex buttons.
The flex bombs, the everything, bro. Impy is calling in. It's been a while, bro. It's been a minute since we've recorded together, man.
Couple of years, I think, for sure.
Let's go,
I think,
bro.
right?
Yeah.
At least.
How you living, man? The people been asking. The people, listen, bro. I mean, you know what it is. You know the vibes. Young Strokes is in the building. The creator of For Condom Betting is in the building. But bro, everybody always asks about you, man, and I'm sure you probably get messages and hit ups about it too. Let the people catch us up on life. How you living?
Everything's good, man. You know, excited about the Super Bowl. Excited for the NBA to take over once the Super Bowl's over. My Knicks are riding high. You know, all is well right now, especially for me. But yeah, no, excited to be here. Pumped to be on. I got some winners for the listeners, to say the least. You know, let's run it up and let's go undefeated.
Let's go, man. It's great to have you back on, bro. I
Thank you
haven't.
for having me. Yes, yes.
Hey, man, you know the vibes. I mean, like I've told you from day one, open seat always. You just give me the call. We were texting and you were like, "Yo, let's do some shit." I'm like, "Listen, man, I think people will get really excited about a Super Bowl PROPEFISTATION." That's what we're calling this one. Young props, young strokes, the whole nine, man. I'm happy to have you on.
Let's do it. I'm pumped.
All right, now I gotta say, we've had some success in the past on these. Dating back to degeneration bets and then some of the other props
Hell
that
yeah.
we've done. We've had some fun with it. Let me ask you this question, bro. Before we lock in and have some fun. How you feel about where we're at with sports betting and just the prop market? We know that the Super Bowl always gets a lot of attention. I was talking to Jay Cornegay here in Vegas. He's one of the big odds makers. He's through a mutual friend. And he said, dude, when I first got in this industry, there was about 20 sheets of props. And like, you know, maybe like 10 to 15 on each sheet. Now there's like 500. So like, how you feel about where we're at with props and just sports betting, bro?
I love it. I think the more opportunities that there are for the better, the more wagers that the better can place, the more likely the better has. Right. When you have such a limited range of options to bet, those numbers are going to be sharper. So I think, just simply put, the more options you have, the better, the more likely you are for an odds maker to hang a bad line. So I think I love kind of the openness to it. Um, and I hate to say it, you know, I love taking unders in some of these props too, especially for these player props where, you know, the overs get steamed up the week leading up to a game. You know, you have a lot of opportunity to really kind of find some nice value on betting some of these unders. And people hate betting unders. I completely understand the casual bettor doesn't enjoy betting unders, but I do think there's opportunity there, or some would call it a opportunity. But nonetheless, I'm a huge fan of it. And yeah, no, you know, I have a couple myself here. Oddly enough, no unders. But I'm a big fan of the under better for sure. I am an under better for sure.
Bro, we've talked about this in the past, and I kind of resurface this video all the time. How if you want to bet an over on a prop, bet it the Sunday night of the conference championship games. Bet it the Monday and the Tuesday after. You want to bet those now, right? Some places opened up 68.5 for Travis Kelce over receiving yards. Some places now got it at 74.5. It'll probably be close to like 10 yards over what it opened at by kickoff, if not more. So I
That's
always,
before the Swifties jump on it. That's before
yeah,
the
as
Swifties jump
as
on it and the casual bettors jump in.
yeah, that's why if you like overs, bet them shits early. If you like unders, wait until like the national anthem, bro. Like you'll probably get
Yeah.
really good numbers. So I do like that you mentioned that, and that's something we've been harping on in the past. And I kind of just resurfaced that video and that take over and over again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have some serious bets. We're gonna have some fun bets, some long shots also, and we're breaking them down into 3 categories. Um,
That I
and
invented, or
that
I
you
invented one of them at least.
yeah, yeah. If you guys follow me on social media, you've seen um our boy McCaffrey is in the Super Bowl, and it started with Christian McCaffrey years back. Impy and I were in a fantasy league, and Impy gifted me Christian McCaffrey, ended up winning me the championship in 2019. Shouts to CMC.
Well, it
And
was
th-
Le'Veon Bell and DeAndre Hopkins who I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
back.
You bought low on D Hop, and you were still waiting for your for your investment to come back. But yo, the years after, Impy will hit me up about fantasy, and we talk and whatnot. He's like, "Yo, who would you take number one?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm taking McCaffrey." And then back to back years, he gets hurt. So then every year since then, I'm like, "Listen, bro, I know he gets hurt, but the best player in fantasy football is Christian McCaffrey." And Impy has a
Yeah,
thing that if you get hurt, Imp, you ain't touching him.
it's too risky, too high value, too valuable of a pick to waste it on someone who's injury prone. I clearly should have taken McCaffrey first this year. I took no, who did I don't know. I had like the second pick. I went Jamar Chase over Christian McCaffrey, and I instantly regretted it.
I got
So that was my
McCaffrey
my folly this year.
I got McCaffrey 6th in my league. So there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people that use multiple condoms during
Like,
sex. And that was the joke that we created with Impy. I would hit up Impy and he'd be like, "Yo, I can't take him because he always gets hurt." And I'm like, dudes that wear multiple condoms during sex don't take McCaffrey, number one. So we've broken up the tiers into this, right? We have the one condom sex plays, which is plus 200 or less, right? You got to strap up.
yep,
You don't want nothing crazy happening. We have the 4 condom sex plays, which is minus 150 or more. I have a couple of those, right? So these are like,
same.
we just want to cash. We just want to see the green check on the apps. And then we got the raw dogs. The raw dogs are like no condoms, plus 500 or more. And those are the ones that people really like, though, right? Like people in the prop market, and it's something that I've said in the past, we've agreed on in the past, how, listen, man, the worst thing you could bet on is like first TD score, because it's only one person that's going to do it, right? It's not like any other prop where it's over or under. It's A or B side. And a lot of
Yeah,
people punt their money. But again, I say this all the time, bro. Like, I probably punt about $200 a Super Bowl on $10 to $20 props to have fun, to be excited at the
yep,
bar, to celebrate the opening kickoff getting returned at like plus 220, and being
yeah.
celebrating. So that's why these are fun. We understand that there's a lot of volatility to them, but as long as you're having a good time and not going too crazy, I think we got a nice little breakdown. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Bet your beer money, not your rent money, as Colin Cowherd says, right? Who is
Yeah.
that? Colin Cowherd, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey man, set us off. What category do you want to start in? Do you want to go safe and work our way to get crazy, or what?
Yeah, let's do that because I want to talk to you about the game.
Okay.
Like I just want to just like chop it up with you about the game, and one of my plays is directly correlated to the game.
You know I love correlated, bro.
Can I just talk to you about kind of where the game opened? It opened San Francisco 1.5 favorite, got bet up a bit, then it got bet back down almost to a pick 'em,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's kind of settling around San Francisco -2, -2.5. I think this is going to be the most cliche conversation people generally have around kind of the Super Bowl, but I tend to agree. Do you think the wrong team is favored?
Ooh. So this kind of reminds me a lot of last year's Super Bowl, where I think the better team is
Yeah,
San Fran, and it was Philly, but the best player on the planet is on Kansas City, and we've seen what Mahomes can do. Shout out to Impy 2018, 30-1, Patrick Mahomes. That's when it started, back-to-back MVPs Impy was giving out. I
Lamar
think
as well the year after.
yeah, the year
Sorry.
after. Yeah. Nah, hey man, those are good. That one was 100-1 too. Um, dude, I think the right team is favored,
Okay.
and it's my whole take has just been best player on the planet versus the best team. And my handicap is very, very comparable to last year. If you go and you listen to the show last year, how I felt about the Eagles Chiefs, it's very similar, bro, if not the exact same of how I feel about this one. So to answer your question, I think the right team is favored. And that's why I think it's going to be so intriguing with the Mahomes factor and the Chiefs dynasty. And are you going to bet against Mahomes in this spot? So that's how I feel. How about you?
No, I do think the wrong team is favored.
Okay.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Better quarterback, better head coach are on the same side. And, you let me know what you think, but I think the Chiefs are the better defense,
Yeah.
whether it's across the whole season or definitely right now. I mean, you could potentially make the argument, although I would disagree with you, you could maybe make the argument that the Niners defense over the course of the season, maybe you could make the argument that they're better than the Chiefs. I don't necessarily think that, but either way, if you were to kind of sit there and say that, I'd let you finish I'd let you finish kind of your thought. But I think at this point in time where we are right now, you have the better quarterback, the more seasoned team, the better head coach, and the better defense. To me, it's just all points to Kansas City in this spot. Um, the Niners 0-2 against the spread in the playoffs, and they're now the Super Bowl favorite. Teams in that spot are 0-4 against the spread in the Super Bowl. And just so you know, on the contrary, the Chiefs are 3-0 against the spread in this postseason, headed into the playoffs as dogs. We all know what Andy Reid's record is off the bye. What is it, 31-7 straight up off the bye? All of these signs, man, it's just pointing towards the Chiefs, and I think I'd be silly to go the other way. Um, you know, you remember when we used to do degeneration bets early in the season? I'd always say just bet the Patriots to be in the Super Bowl, and you'll find a way to kind of make your money. Whether you hedge, in the Super Bowl or something along the lines. This Chiefs team is turning exactly into that same Patriots team where preseason, whatever the number is, you're probably going to get to 5-1, 6-1, maybe 7-1, whatever it is. Just blindly bet this Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl, and lo and behold, this kind of come true. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on the game as a whole because I do think that wrong team is favored. But
Can I add something to that?
go ahead.
I,
Yeah.
I did a show with Alan, shouts to Alan, when the playoffs started. And we kind of did a pro and against each team, their chances to win the Super Bowl. And one thing I said for the Chiefs was, bro, I can't stop looking at them being 11-1 to win the Super Bowl right now. That's the highest that they've been all year. And Allen talked me into it. And also, like, I'm not blaming Allen because I felt the same way. I'm like, bro, who's going to make the big play outside of Kelsey? Because my whole take, Imp, was, bro, they're saving Kelsey. And they have been, right?
Yep.
Like, he's been going
Yep.
crazy in the playoffs. They don't care about the Raider game, bro. Like, they don't care about Denver.
Nope.
Go out there and just block, whatever. Don't worry about that. Dude, he didn't go over 1,000 yards because they rested him in that last game. So they didn't care about the regular season. And I just kept looking at 11-1. I'm like, dude, best player on the planet. No one's buying into them. And this is the highest number we'll get all year. But I was so worried about the receivers. But now playoff MVS is a real thing. Like, this dude, back-to-back games, he makes a great play when they need him most. And this is a team, like you said, they're seasoned, they're experienced, they've been there, done that. And they're the new dynasty, dude. And to your point about Andy Reid, check this out. 4-0 is the head coach in Super Bowls, in rematches of head coaches in Super Bowls.
There you go.
So a lot of
These
signs,
two teams know each other.
Yeah, a lot of signs pointing to the Chiefs. And they played last year in the regular season, and it was still Jimmy G, and it was the first McCaffrey game, and the Chiefs won by 3 possessions. but things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, look. I'm gonna go into my quick play here.
Okay, let's get
I
it.
like Rasheed Rice. Oh, I like Rasheed Rice over 6.5 receptions.
Ooh.
Minus 110 on a lot of books. I think if you've been watching this KC team over the second half of the season into the playoffs, he's essentially an extension of the run game. Niners play a whole bunch of soft zone coverage. I think he's gonna feast around the line of scrimmage. Um, and then I also, just so you know, I have a correlated play with this. It's plus money. I think you're going to like this. I like Rasheed Rice to lead the game in receptions, plus 220. Travis Kelce and Rasheed Rice have the highest total receptions on the slate, 6.5. Yet Rasheed Rice is plus 220 and Travis Kelce's plus 170. So I think you're getting some value there on a guy who, like I said, is an extension of the run game. They love him close to the line of scrimmage. Now, same as Kelce, I'm not taking anything away, but I just think that there's a massive gap from plus 220 to plus 170 when they have the same number in terms of total receptions. So I'm playing Rasheed Rice over 6.5 receptions, and I'm also playing Rasheed Rice most receptions in the game at plus 220. He's gone over 6.5 receptions in 6 of his last 9 games. And oh, by the way, in one of those games, he went under. He had 6 receptions, but he had 125 receiving yards in that game that he went under. So, okay, technically he's under the number, but he was extremely effective in that game where he went under. So, little worried about Fred Warner patrolling the middle of the field. That's where Travis Kelce loves to feast as well. This could be the Rasheed Rice game. So you know, my 2 plays kind of, you know, one piggybacking off of the other. Rasheed Rice over 6.5 receptions, and then Rasheed Rice most receptions in the game plus 220.
To what you're saying, and I like what you're saying, 71% of the offensive production has gone through Rice, Kelce, and Pacheco. So it's basically just them 3, and that's it for the Chiefs, and especially through the passing game. I mean, in the playoffs, it's Rice and Kelce through the air, and then Pacheco on the ground. Like, that's the whole offense. So I like that. I like that
Yeah,
a lot.
and it's just so close, and it's just so close to the line of scrimmage, which is again that's something bodes well for these high reception numbers where, you know, the average depth of target is like less than 5 yards. Everything is so close to the line of scrimmage. You know, he's averaging I think 9 targets over those last 9 weeks, and so if you convert, you know, more than, like I said, 7 or 8 of them, you're clearing the number and then potentially, you know, cashing that most receptions in the game prop as well. Is there a scenario where Kelce has more receiving yards, but potentially less receptions than Rasheed Rice? Absolutely. You know, and so that's why I think there's some value there. So I'm all over both of those plays. Definitely smash spots for me, to say the least.
Okay, some player props to get us popping. I like it. I like it. I'm kind of all over the place with mine, and I know you went with
All good.
these are which category are these? Are these the 4 condom, the extra safe plays? Or are these
No, I would say those are the one.
the
Those are, I
one,
would
the
say that
one?
would be just a one. That would be a one condom
Okay,
play,
that's
less than minus one. It's in the kind of
all right.
close to even money, in between even money and minus 150. It's kind of in that world.
Okay, I fuck with it. I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay, mine, piggybacking off what you said, the more experienced team, Mahomes now, this could be his 4th Super Bowl. We don't think Pat's gonna be rattled by anything, but what do you think of this one? Plus 190, Brock Purdy's first pass incomplete. Little shakies, little shakies. Look,
That,
good.
that's a zag. That's a zig when everyone's zagging right there, because everybody. I've seen so many people, and I think that's a lot of public bettors. They are on that. Young quarterback. Essentially, obviously his first Super Bowl. Extremely young quarterback. You know, let's get him comfortable. Let's get him in a rhythm. So you're zigging when everyone's zagging in the situation.
Yeah, and I think he might just be a little rattled coming out the gates, bro. And you know, and look, and look, it's a very volatile play because it doesn't mean that he's gonna throw a shitty ball. Maybe it gets dropped. Maybe it's a pass breakup. Maybe it's a batted ball at the line of scrimmage by Chris Jones. But plus 190, his first pass incomplete. Did a little
Yeah.
20 spot on that. Nice little 20.
Well, what if it's what if they want to what if they want to, maybe they run the ball on first down and then they want to kind of take a deep play, a deep shot down the field. And to your point, it's an overthrow or whatever the case may be. I could definitely see that. I like that plus 192. Like I'm with you on that, and I think that's a super contrarian play where everyone and their mother is going the other way. So I think you're getting some value there on the number two.
Oh, dude, the perfect
Um,
best case scenario is we get like a Christian McCaffrey 23-yard run on first down, and then they get the ball to like the 40. What's up? Play action, deep shot to Ayuk, incomplete. There we go. There's our
yeah,
plus 190 cash. That's the game script, bro. I got the NFL script. If I was talking to Goodell and them, and they told me that's going to be at 23 yards for McCaffrey, first play. He's going to tap his helmet because, you get one big possession like that. Blew his load early, steps off the field, play action, Ayuk, incomplete, plus 190 cash.
yeah. L'Jarius Sneed pass breakup. Those corners are unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, I love the Niners wide receivers, and I think obviously Kyle Shanahan. How long have I been preaching the Kyle Shanahan gospel? Right, I've been probably that. I've been on that bandwagon for a really long time. Extremely creative. He'll scheme his guys open. But talk about two tough corners, McDuffie, Sneed. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot different. I have a Brock Purdy play here. You want me
Okay.
to kind of continue the Brock Purdy train? Does that work for you?
Yeah, we'll go back and forth.
So, another one of my favorite plays, Brock Purdy over 10.5 rushing yards, minus 120. I see it at 11.5. I'd probably play it up to 12.5. That's just probably as far as I'd go. He just rushed for 48 yards in the NFC title game. Um, Seems more decisive in terms of willingness to take off and run. He's trying to eliminate those middle of the field interceptable balls. He's trying to get himself out of those situations. I think the deeper you get into the playoffs, the more risk averse you become. You even take a look at Patrick Mahomes. Very similar, where he's the kind of quarterback who he finds himself running a lot more in the playoffs and as the season progresses versus earlier in the year. Chiefs blitz and they play a lot of man coverage. And what's a recipe for success when it comes to running quarterbacks? It's those two things right there. If you are a Niners backer and you think the Niners are going to win, consider over 2.5 rush attempts because you then get the quarterback kneel, a potential value as a rushing attempt. I like Patrick Mahomes over 12.5 rushing yards. Longest rush over 12.5 rushing yards. And the reason I'm steering clear of Patrick Mahomes rushing yards is because of that QB kneel at the end of the game. So that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about some of these quarterback rushing totals is if I think the team is going to win, maybe consider playing the attempts. And if in terms of the losing team, maybe think about playing the yards because you don't have to worry about those QB kneels. So like I mentioned, Purdy over 10.5 rushing yards, you could play it up to 11.5. And then if you're a Chiefs backer, Patrick Mahomes over 12.5 rushing yards. Slides less in the playoffs. These guys are willing to maybe take an extra hit to snag a couple extra yards. It's the last game of the season. You know what? You can nurse an injury with that extra Super Bowl trophy in your trophy case. The hurt hurts a lot less. With the Lombardi Trophy. So those are two interesting ways to play the quarterback rushing props.
I love it. And what's crazy? One of the all-time bad beats in Super Bowl prop history featured this matchup. Mahomes not doing a traditional kneel down, kind of ran
The
back.
scatter back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of ran back like 6-7 yards, and that pushed him under his yardage total. And yeah, you're right, dude. It happened. Shit, I remember one time Matt Ryan in a regular season game lost me $6,000 playing daily fantasy because of kneel downs. He did 3 kneel downs and he lost 6 yards on the kneel downs. And I went from
Yep.
first place to second place, and the difference was winning $10,000 and then ending up winning $4,000. And it's crazy because 4K is 4K, but when you have a chance at 10, you're like, and you were,
Because of
and
the
I was,
kneel.
and yeah, like because of the kneel down, bro. It's corny, but I get it though. I get it.
And here's the thing, for reference, last play of the game to be a QB kneel is minus 200.
Mm.
So the books are already telling you that they expect that the last play of the game will be that kneel. So I'm just trying to, and again, I know I'm a Chiefs backer in this game. I believe the Chiefs are going to win this game, so that's why I'm leaning, the way I am. But look, I think both are interesting plays. Whether you go Mahomes longest rush or you go Purdy total rushing yards, you just want to kind of give you a couple different options depending on what team you're backing. Yeah, so
I like that
your
one.
turn.
Okay, my turn. This one is for condoms.
Extremely safe.
Extremely safe. Yeah, minus 350. Opening kickoff is a touchback. The adrenaline as a former kicker myself, the adrenaline. Yeah, indoors. Probably put that shit out the back of the end zone. Minus 350. I don't want to use the L word, but I think it's close to it.
Close to a locky lock, bet the house.
Bet the house, yeah.
So, yeah, no, I have, I can't disagree with you there. That's a big number. Would you say minus 300?
Minus 350.
Yeah. The only thing that I'd play close to that number as a straight bet would be a McCaffrey anytime touchdown. Minus 200, 210, 220.
Yeah.
220, right? I think that's something that I'd play straight for sure in terms of just an anytime touchdown score.
Well, one thing to stay with that. I think what I would do with McCaffrey is, because I can't see the Niners winning this game and him not playing well and scoring a touchdown. So I think doing a parlay of McCaffrey anytime with the Niners money line could probably get like minus 105, minus 110, maybe even a plus number, I should say.
Yeah.
So I
think you'd get a plus number.
Yeah, I would much rather do that as opposed to taking it on its own.
Yeah.
Because, like, bro, it's very volatile, right? Like, I don't like laying minus 200 on anytime TD scores. And when McCaffrey was going crazy this year, you saw like minus 350, minus 400. And look, he ended up scoring in those games anyway, but still, it's just not a bet that I would make.
Yeah. He broke he lost his streak, right? It was 17 straight games, more than that. I can't remember the amount of games it was. But he was close to an all-time NFL streak in terms of, consecutive games with a touchdown. It came to an end this year. But yeah, no, he's matchup proof. Interestingly enough, I think kind of just like quickly pivoting back to Brock Purdy in terms of Christian McCaffrey, I think McCaffrey's ability to kind of operate in the short passing game draws so many eyeballs and so much attention in terms of that short passing game from the defense. That's one of the reasons why I am even higher kind of on some of these Purdy rushing attempts and rushing yards, simply because everyone knows where McCaffrey is at all times. And some of that underneath stuff, they're spending a little bit more, time on, and they're really focusing in on him a little bit more, which would kind of alleviate some of that Brock Purdy stuff. But I'm with you. Minus 300 on that kickoff. It's going right out of the end zone. It's in a dome. That's a smash. I have a long shot here that is somewhat related to the kicking game. If I could give it to you.
Yeah, let's get it. What category is this? No rubbers, or is it right below a couple?
This is the longest shot I had. This is 26 to 1.
Whoa, dude, what happened? Where's this is a new Impy, guys? Because Impy is the king of putting a 19-leg parlay that pays minus 107. That's where the 4 condom betting originated. So for me to hear 26 to 1, it's wild.
Yeah. This is a FanDuel special.
Okay.
Each team to score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. 26 to 1.
Wow. Okay.
26 to 1. Each team to score 1 touchdown and 1 field goal in each half. Controlled environment indoors is something that I think really plays to the advantage of the kicker in this situation. I also think the Niners and Shanahan are, generally speaking, considered a very conservative team. One could argue they're a little too conservative, especially with the lead. Young quarterback, obviously making his first Super Bowl appearance. Like I said, the side I am most worried about in this situation could be the Niners, because I do think the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball. I do think the Niners will as well. The Chiefs are a little bit more prone to take a risk and obviously go for it on some of these fourth downs. But I think with the game with such a close spread, within a field goal, I think it's going to be a close game. So I can see teams taking points. And as I mentioned, in kind of this controlled environment indoors. Um, I just really like that number 26-1. In a situation where I think both teams are going to be able to move the ball. So yeah, 26-1, each team to score a touchdown and a field goal in each half.
Wow. I like that. I fuck with that a lot. I'm definitely gonna have to drive out to Arizona to put that bet in, brother. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, by the way.
Yeah. Yo,
Like, we
dude,
don't get into that.
bro, it's so wild. When I first moved out here, dude, I was talking to my mom. I hit her up and I was like, hey, I want you to make a couple bets for me. And she calls me. She goes, why am I making bets for you? You're in fucking Vegas. I was like, that's exactly why you're making bets for me. This is the worst place on the planet for mobile betting, bro. Who would have thought that
They
the
made it.
Disneyland
Yeah.
of sports betting is Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's the worst place for mobile betting. It's terrible, and you can't,
They made it.
yeah,
They made it easier for everybody else except for the people there.
yeah. It's been pretty rough. Okay, now we're gonna get into the fun, the goodies. We're gonna get into the goodies because I have a couple of good ones, and I got a couple that I really really like. Staying with your sort of each half, right? Like doing something each half. Dude, I've been a big fan of this type of bet in soccer a lot. Double
Okay.
double result,
Yep.
first half and then game to end, you could get some really big numbers in those markets, and especially in soccer where, you take one team to be winning at halftime and the other team to come back. You could get like 25, 30, 40 to ones on those. I kind of blindly bet those in every group stage game in soccer during major tournaments, bro.
You know who cashed a lot of these during the regular season? The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh to lose the halftime and then win the second half and win the game. Pittsburgh Steelers, uh, the kings of that this regular season. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to. It was something so noticeable, and so I wanted to call it out.
Yeah, nah, Pittsburgh for sure would always come back because they'd start so slow in games, and then Kenny Pickett would just like do some wild shit at the end. It was always, yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it, I never thought about it in the NFL standpoint. I never really touched this bet, but I always find it fascinating. So like the one that I like, and full disclosure, I've made this bet already. 19-1 and a 20-1 tie game at halftime, and then either team to win the game in regulation. So as long as it's tied at halftime, bro, I'm holding a 19-1 if it's the Niners and a 20-1 if it's Kansas City. So if the game is
That's
10-10 or 13-13 at halftime, oh, I am through the moon. And listen, I know you're a hedge guy. You like to hedge sometimes. Overtime, 12-1. Because if it goes into overtime, I technically lose that bet because it's
I
first
see what you're
half
saying. Yep.
and then second half. If it goes into, this is a regulation bet only. And I've made this tie game at halftime. So it's two bets. I just made it because I don't want to take
Yep.
a tie. And another thing, staying with this theme, right? The reason why I took halftime Chiefs, halftime Niners is the same exact analogy and the same exact theory I have for first TD score. If you like first TD score, there is nothing more frustrating and there's nothing worse than being on the right player to score the first touchdown, but the other team gets the ball first, right? So you could do
Yeah.
one of two things. You could bet the dude to score the first touchdown for his team, or what I like doing
Yep.
is I'll take. Last year I took AJ Brown and then I took Travis Kelce first TD score.
One on each side.
One
Yep.
on each side. Because then if Philly gets the ball first and I only bet Kelce, I'm not gonna be like, fuck, man, there goes that one. You know what I mean? So like I
Yep.
kind of like having a dog on each side, especially for first TD score. But yeah, one of my favorite bets that I made is the game to be tied at halftime, and then I took both teams imp plus 1900 for the Niners, plus 20-1, 20-1 for Kansas City.
I like it. I like it. Um, I'm trying to figure out where to go next because I have. How about this? I'll give you the numbers and you tell me which, without knowing what the bet is. I'll give you the number and you tell me which one you want.
Okay.
All right, so I have one at plus 600, and then I have one for plus 400, which is unlike me.
Give me plus 400.
Mahomes anytime touchdown score.
Ooh.
Um, you can get it at 400 if you look. I think it's going to close around, could be closer to plus 300. So I think you're getting some value now at plus 400 if you look for it. But what I like about this is, call me crazy, but I think there's a couple of different ways for this bet to cash. Obviously, the most common scenario would be some type of a quarterback rush from the 4 yard line, the 6 yard line, whatever it is, right? Some form of a Mahomes scramble into the end zone. You obviously have the element of a potential tush push, or from the goal line, some type of a quarterback sneak. But we know Andy Reid is creative. We know Kelsey's thrown the ball before. I think someone on the Chiefs played quarterback in college, one of the tight ends. Who knows, how creative they can get down the goal line. Maybe Mahomes catches a touchdown. I just think there's a couple of different unique ways this bet could cash. I love Mahomes anytime touchdown score plus 400.
They do run them more, like you were saying before. Come playoff time, they kind of let him go
Yeah.
crazy. Plus 400. Yeah.
I think it's him doing that. I just think, it's the end of the season. This is what we're playing for. Like, I just think it's him kind of tucking and running, in a situation. And I also think Mahomes, say what you want. Like, I think, as good as he is, right? I think he's developed and he's grown as a quarterback where it now seems like he doesn't necessarily have to kind of take the game over and be Magic Mahomes, scramble around. He essentially, you can make the argument, that's one of the reasons why they lost that game against the Bengals in the playoffs, a couple years ago. So I don't know. I think that he's kind of really maturing and he's kind of hitting another point in his career where he understands he can let the defense win the game. He can let the running game win the game. He doesn't have to be Magic Man, and he doesn't kind of have to take these games over. He can win the game with his, making the right decisions and not just kind of winning the game with his arm. So again, a lot of this kind of quarterback run. It's kind of one of my themes for the Super Bowl, and Mahomes anytime touchdown, kind of fills that void. So Mahomes anytime touchdown plus 400, book that.
Mm, fuck yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, last year he broke the Eagles' back with that long run that he had. So he does get up and
Yeah,
scoot, as everyone says. What do you think of this one? Plus 650, game ends on 3. So ends by a field goal either way. Close game, you know, 27,
I mean
24, 20,
it's sitting
21,
at two and
20.
a half.
Yeah.
It's sitting at 2.5. It's asking, it's asking for that in one way. So,
So
um,
plus 650, that was one that jumped out to me. There's some sports books where this is going to get funky and interesting, especially when they got to grade these. First pass for Kelsey over the middle and under 9 yards plus 425.
oh, that's going to be so difficult to grade. And you already know Twitter's going to be flipping out
Yeah.
one way or the other,
He's going
right?
to catch like a 7-yard pass on the hash mark, and then it's going to be a fucking zoo. And
There's nothing worse.
I'm surprised that these sports books are offering that too, because we've talked about this in the
Yeah.
past. Like, one of the reasons why some of these exotic props, like how many times is Taylor Swift going to be shown on TV? Those are pretty subjective, right? Like,
Yeah.
is Taylor Swift in the shot if this is Taylor?
Yeah.
And
Great point.
we know that's her arm, or does it need to be like she's acknowledged
Of her face,
that,
a frontal.
yeah. So those are all subjective. I had my
Yeah.
headset come off when I was trying to make that demonstration if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, so like those are pretty subjective, right? And this one I feel like could be playing with people's emotions and subjectivity.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is actually one of the reasons why I stay away from assist props in the NBA,
Mm,
because I'm tired of, you know, waiting for stat corrections and kind of tweeting at the NBA. I mean, all jokes aside, I don't really do that, but I see what gambling Twitter looks like. I see what kind of the betting community, and rightfully so, right? Like, it's clear. You go by the NBA definitions of what an assist is, and it's clear. You can look at a highlight 27 times, and it's clear that's an assist. But when it's kind of when there's a gray area in regards to the stat, I do tend to shy away from those plays. And this kind of seems like it's kind of up that alley in terms of there's a gray area. Can't definitively say, if it's one way or the other. So I couldn't agree with you more. That's a little, is that an offshore book or is that a legit book?
DraftKings.
Oh, yeah. So, damn.
Crazy, right?
I mean, they just want their that's just
Yeah.
casual Taylor Swift money right there. Damn.
Yo,
All right.
what do you think of, real quick? This isn't one of mine, but just curious. Travis Kelce plus 190 to propose after the game. Thoughts?
No. I mean, so here's the thing. But plus 190?
Yeah, that he proposes.
No, I need like 30 to 1. Like,
Really?
because here's the thing. Is he proposing off a loss? Or is he only propose if they win?
Ooh, man. Yeah, probably off a win.
Also, is there a guarantee she's even going to be there? She's going to be performing in Japan like 10 hours before. Now, I'm fairly certain she'll be there.
Yeah,
She was there for
we did a whole
random Monday Night
breakdown.
Football game against.
Yeah, we did a whole breakdown
okay.
on the Super Bowl storylines. There's like a roadmap, bro. And shout out to Bro Bible. They actually posted this shit, and I was fucking super hyped about it. Big ups to Bro Bible that they heard that and they posted that. But so they're a day ahead, right? So like
Yeah.
she has a 16-hour window to get to Vegas, and then she doesn't have to go to her world tour until Friday. So she has a couple of days to like chill and then maybe go to Disney World on Tuesday, brother. I'm holding a 60 to 1 for Travis Kelce. Gave it out on the show at 85 to 1. Shout out to the members of all you legends, whether you're in the Discord, whether you're in the Patreon, and people just tweeting and hitting us up that they made that bet. Now he's 12 to 1. He's the most heavily wagered guy to win it. Also, like that upsets me now, but I'm holding a 60 to 1. Others are holding 85 to 1. Now he's 10 to 12 to 1. So I'm not too mad about that. I basically got the same odds as like Chris Jones to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Is he the only non-quarterback that you'd play for MVP, or would you consider McCaffrey on the Niners end?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's either the two quarterbacks or one of those two guys because it's the Cooper Kupp thing. Remember Cooper Kupp a couple years ago? I was on Cooper Kupp because I felt like that guy, especially the year that he was having, he was the MVP of that team. Why can't he be the MVP in that game? He was plus 650. Kind of the same approach here with Travis Kelce. Like, dude, the Chiefs are not the old Chiefs dropping 30 a game anymore. They're dropping like, 21 to 24. So if Travis Kelce has the kind of game where he goes out there and he catches 10 for 120 and a touchdown and they win 17-13, I think it's possible. And that like Mahomes throws 2 touchdowns, but one of them is to Kelce. I think in that game, like he was the MVP in the Ravens game.
Yeah.
So like that's why you play the numbers there. And then for McCaffrey, I think he was the MVP of the league, truthfully.
Yeah.
So yeah, plus 475 for McCaffrey, and then Kelce 12 to 1. Those are the only other two guys that I would bet outside of the quarterbacks.
I wouldn't hate you if you sprinkled something on Debo, and reason being, he's heavily utilized in the running game in big games, in massive regular season games and playoff games. We've seen kind of the pitches that they've run for him in straight kind of like single back formations. They just involve him, even more than your traditional wide receiver. So is there a scenario where maybe he has 80 receiving yards, 50 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns? Maybe he breaks a long run, scores a touchdown, and then for whatever reason, maybe he catches a touchdown pass, two scrimmage touchdowns, maybe close to 125 all-purpose, maybe all, around 120 to 150 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. I can see that, and at that number where you're getting in some books plus two, plus 25 to 1, that's something that I think I'd sprinkle on. But again, just a sprinkle, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, man. Look, 2 of the last 5 Super Bowl MVPs have been wide receivers. And my thing is I'm just not going to bet the quarterback to win it. And I've been on the 2 receivers that ended up winning it. It was Edelman in 2018, 25 to 1, and then Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp plus 600 in the Rams Bengals Super Bowl. And also I had given out T. Higgins too, who had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. If the Bengals win that game, he's probably the MVP. So to me, it's Debo. And you have to take a guy that you've seen have a monster game. Right?
Yeah.
Like taking a flyer on like Noah Gray is dumb. Like you need to take if you're gonna take a flyer, like Debo, if he can have a Philly game. Remember what he did to Philly, bro? 3 touchdowns, just fucking went nuts, had a game-altering play where he broke all those tackles. Like, you need to have a guy that has shown he could take over a game. Like Brandon Ayuk, I think, is also interesting too. I think he's another interesting one. But I know we're going down many different ways. I do like Debo. I think there are definitely more options on the 49ers than there are on the Chiefs. My dad called me and he said he wanted $50 on Karlaftis, 100 to 1. He's like, he's Greek. He's like, he's Greek. Why not? Fame. You know what I'm saying? Yasu.
I mean, like we need a strip sack, forced fumble, interception, something like that.
Yeah. We need, like Von Miller. Von Miller had a strip sack fumble and a recovery when the game was close. You need it to be like a 14-10, 17-10 kind of game. If it's fireworks, it's not going to go to one of them. But Karlaftis 100 to 1 only because he's Greek. That's the handicap. Take that for a handicap.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking at some of these numbers, you get Bosa's hovering around anywhere from 75 to 1 to 100 to 1. So, in that same vein of some type of a pass rusher, multiple sacks, maybe some type of a, forced fumble, something like that. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. And I do agree. The Niners, I do think have more options from that perspective. And look, even though I'm not on that side, they are the betting favorite to win the game. So
Right.
You do have that to kind of play to your advantage. I have somewhat of a unique prop, plus
Okay.
600.
Yeah. I was going to mention that you definitely had one more. It was the plus 600 you haven't gotten to.
McCaffrey, Debo, and Travis Kelce to combine for 4 touchdowns, plus 600. You could, in theory, play all 3 of these guys to score a touchdown, anytime touchdown score parlay, and it's not probably, it would pay out in the 625 to 650 range if you were to just play them straight. But I do think this actually may be a little bit of a safer bet in the sense that if one of them doesn't score and 2 of them score 2 each, you hit your bet, right? So CMC 2 touchdowns and 2. CMC has 2+ touchdowns in 2 straight games. Kelce has 3 touchdowns over his last 2 games. We've kind of touched on Debo. He's scored multiple touchdowns in a game this season, and he's done it before historically. We know that he loves to feed them in big spots. So I don't know. I saw it on FanDuel. I thought it was interesting. And again, you could consider just playing them individually for a slightly higher payout, but I do think this is a little bit more of the safer version of the bet. McCaffrey, Debo, Kelce combined for 4+ touchdowns, plus 600.
Yeah, because you can get McCaffrey has scored 4 touchdowns in a game. That would definitely help his MVP case. But you don't need all 3 of them to score. If you bet them individually, here's the thing: if you bet them individually, you get plus 625, and that's for them to just score a touchdown each. So here in this one, you could get Debo and Kelce to score 2 touchdowns each, and then McCaffrey don't get in one, and you still hit your bet on this one. So man, look, there's so many of these combinations that you can make. That's what makes the Super Bowl so fascinating.
Yeah.
Remember we were watching the Bengals-Rams game together, bro, and I did that alternate bet, and I hit all of them, and I had Rams minus 9.5, and I had Bengals plus 10.5, and on the last drive, Joe Burrow gets the ball, and I turn to you and I go, bro, if the Rams get like a pick six, I'm winning $38,000. And then the first play, he throws the out route to Jamar Chase, and like Ramsey makes the tackle, but before that, he like stumbles, or else it might have been house, bro. Oh, good times. Good times. That was a good Super Bowl. Definitely cleaned up on that one. All right, I got a couple. This one we gotta play, bro, for the brand.
Okay.
20-1. The Great Girl Parlay.
Hold on. Is it Juice Check?
Use check
McCaffrey?
and Travis Kelce. Auto score touchdowns.
Wow.
20-1. Great Girl Parlay,
I
bro.
like it. Juice Check's wife is his wife, right? She just got
Yeah.
licensed by the NFL to make
Yeah,
that
she
cool
makes all
clothing.
those dope ass like fits that she does. Like Taylor Lautner's worn one. Obviously Taylor Swift, Mahomes' wife, Brittany, Olivia Culpo,
Mhm.
Mount Rushmore of the GG. She's worn one also. So like, yeah, she got the licensing agreement. And look, how about this one? How about this one? 20-1, bro. 20-1 anytime, TD. And then we'll end the show with this because I kind of wanted to do like a rapid fire with you. And it's been so fucking dope having you on, man. I know people are going to go crazy and they're going to be hyped as hell to have you on. But I kind of want to do a rapid fire. We'll do any time. Do you have any more? I'm sorry. Do you have any others?
I have one more,
Okay,
which
okay.
is a
So
straight bet.
let's do that
I
one.
have one more straight bet.
Okay. And then
Um,
I actually have one more that's like kind of wacky and all over the place. It's 50-1. But
okay.
go ahead.
It's so crazy how like I'm turning into like this cool straight better, and you're kind of off on these crazy, long shots, and we've kind of thrown those 7 condom bets out the door. Um, I'm pr- I, I'm proud of my professional development.
Let's go.
Um, look, last two straight bets. As I forgot, I had. You know what? I'll save that last one. Pacheco over 65.5 rushing yards. It's minus 120. Um, he's gone over, I think 64. He's gone over 65 in his last four. He's gone over his number in the last 4 games. 24 attempts, 15 attempts, 24 attempts, 18 attempts over his last 4 games. Even when the running game isn't working, they're still committed to it, which I think is important. He's going to get the volume. He can break one. If he breaks a 40-yard rush, you pretty much cashed your ticket. But again, like I said, I think it's really important to note that even in the event and even in these scenarios where the running game is not working, they are still pounding the ball. It's a different Chiefs team. This is not the Chiefs team who can, come back from being down 10. This is just not the same team. They're much more committed to the run, clock management, not making mistakes. So I just really love Pacheco. He gets essentially an extra week of rest. He had the bad shoulder. He played last week. He so like I said, they gave him the ball 24 times on a bad shoulder. More time to rest, more time to prepare. I think it's a smash spot for Pacheco here too. So that's just my, just like in terms of my last player prop. Really, really love the Pacheco spot here.
Yeah, he's been a dog, bro. Like he came on last year towards the end of the season and then in the playoffs, and now he's their feature back. And shout out to
Yeah.
Scarlet Knights over at Rutgers, one of Rutgers' very own, getting it in.
Seventh
Also,
round pick, man.
yeah, and also wears number 10, so you know he's real as shit.
Yeah. Um,
All right.
and then and then I have my winner of the game. I just think Chiefs plus 2.5.
Mm.
Better defense, better coach, better quarterback. Andy Reid off a bye. Even in the event that they lose the game, you still have 2.5 points. It's at minus 115. I just, this Niners defense hasn't been the same since Hufanga was hurt. I think in November. I think at this point, the
Yeah.
safety on the Niners,
Yep.
such a big loss. People aren't taking that into consideration. Um, Niners have given up 770 total yards over their last 2 games. This is just not the same defense. I'm not impressed with the pass rush. And so I don't know. I just think this is a cheap spot. I would take the points. You can obviously, snag them at money line plus 120, plus 105, something like that. But I'd rather just take the 2.5 and pay a little bit of the vig at minus 115. And that's my last play of the Super Bowl.
Okay. Okay. I will say that Super Bowl history, the team that wins the last 30 Super Bowls, the team that has won, has covered its spread 28-2. Meaning, if it's an underdog, they win outright, essentially covering the spread, and the favorites cover the spread. There was
Okay.
one in the early 2000s. I don't have it in front of me because my laptop kind of just like went crazy and I lost internet service. The other one was the Bengals and Rams. The Rams won, but they didn't cover. So besides that,
Okay.
the winning team usually covers. So if you do think the Chiefs win, I would play the money line, and that's what I did. I actually bet it the night when they put the matchup up plus 115. I bet the Chiefs money line. That was my first and only bet on like the game aspect. Everything else has been just fun props, and I'll end with this one. 50-1. Shout out to the tight ends. Shout out to the tight ends. Travis Kelce to score the first touchdown. George Kittle to score the second touchdown of the game. 45-1.
I like it. Is that one of those featured, or did you put
It's
that
a
together?
it's a
Sorry if you
it's
said.
a no, it's a featured. It's a
Okay.
featured. And now, like, look,
Yeah.
to your point, you can also, what you could do is Kelce to score the first touchdown and then play Kittle to score anytime. You could get 20-1 on that and parlay
Okay.
it. But mine is the first touchdown of the game and then the second touchdown of the game, playing it that way. And that's my last like real long shot. Let's wrap the show with this. We'll do a first TD score, an anytime TD score, and then we'll do an MVP.
All right. Let me pull up live numbers. Give me 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Well, you
do
want to
your
go
thing.
first? By all means.
I'll go first. I'll go first. And this one is wacky. And I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you one that's like, one condom sex, and then the other one that's like raw, like Monday night. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First touchdown of the game, Travis Kelce plus 800. First touchdown of the game, 40-1, Kyle Juszczyk.
Who scored a touchdown, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, and the last time these two played in the Super Bowl.
Did he?
I'm almost Yo, I swear I'm almost positive.
Yo, hold on. Look that up. Look that up because my laptop just acted up. Chiefs, 49ers, Super Bowl. Okay, I got it back. 31-20. Yeah, he did. He did.
Juszczyk, 3 receptions, 39 yards. I knew it, and you want to know why I knew it? Because I bet it. But I needed to triple check. I wasn't 100% sure because that was like when I would consider myself an intern. Like I wasn't even like knowledgeable in any way, shape, or form. But somehow I cashed that bet. And really quickly, another bet that I cashed, first score to be a Niners field goal was a bet that I hit that game too.
Wow. Yo, and check this out, right? Mahomes scored the first touchdown in that game. Juszczyk scored the first touchdown for the Niners. You could get that at 25-1 for him to be the first TD scorer for his team, which is going back to what I said before, right? Like, I just gave you guys an example of what I'm betting. I bet Travis Kelce first TD score, and then I also bet Travis Kelce first Chiefs TD score, and then I bet Kyle Juszczyk first game score, and then first Niners TD score, because I don't want it to happen to you guys what's happened to me in the past, where I'm on the right player and I end up losing my bet because of a fucking coin toss. So that's why it's important to try to sprinkle on all these different numbers in these different scenarios. So those are my two anytime TD scores. First TD scores.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got?
I mean, I like. I mean, I will just kind of keep it. I love Debo. You can get Debo. Depending on what book you're looking at, close to 10-1 odds. And I think for a guy who they use him in the run game, they use him in the pass game, he can break a big play. In terms of just kind of touchdown versatility and just kind of his ability to kind of be involved in multiple different ways. At 10-1, I do think that would be kind of my favorite look in terms of first touchdown score for sure.
Okay, let's go to anytime TD score. You kind of gave
I
one before in Mahomes. You want to stick with that?
I did. Yeah, pull you snag. Give me one more of yours. Um, give me one of yours, and I'll give you one more as well.
I like Ayuk plus
Yeah,
155.
his what's interesting about Ayuk is if I'm looking at all the books. There's not much difference between one book to the next. You got one plus 155 and then plus 130 is generally the
The range.
the amount of the range, the amount of
Yeah.
variance you have. So I like that.
But yo, it's important. What we always talk about, you got to shop the lines, right? Because you
Yeah.
want to bet this at plus 155, not at plus 130. So when,
Especially if these are all straight bets, which most of these are. I mean,
yeah,
unless you're throwing an anytime touchdown score into like, a 7 leg, same game parlay, then that's completely different. I understand if you want to just use one book over the other.
right.
But if you're playing these as straights, don't take advantage of some of these new user deposit bonuses. Everyone's going to run some type of a Super Bowl bonus, some type of, if you've never, if you've never used a points bet or if you've never used a bet MGM, utilize that now. If you've never used a Caesars, you've never used a WinBet, shout out WinBet. Use these, use these deposit bonuses and really kind of play them to your advantage. Shop the lines. You can look on the internet. Literally, you can look up which books have the best odds in terms of what you're trying to play. So don't be lazy. Don't be a lazy bettor. Because there's some drastic differences depending on the number. Depending on the sports book, you'll get a different number. So that's a little piece of advice for sure.
Hell yeah, man. You're harping on things that we've spoke about in the past, and I'm glad you remember them because I reiterate this shit on this show too all the time. Like when people ask me how many sports books I have, I go all of them.
All of them.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that I'm making the same bet on all of them. No, but if I'm looking at a prop, I'm going to look to find the best number. So anytime touchdown score, I'll open up all the apps before I put my bet in and I look, oh, you know what? I'm going to put this at Circa because they're giving me plus 160. The first app I open up might be Win, and that's plus 125. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to bet it at the best number.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would just go, other than the Mahomes bet, which I love, I would probably, and this is a little chalky, of course, but I do think it's Pacheco. You can get it close minus 130, which isn't a horrible bet. At 4 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Like I said, this is a completely different Chiefs team. If there are, extra set of eyeballs on Kelsey down by the goal line, I love Pacheco as a player, just a hard runner. He is the running game is a massive focal point of what they do, and so I just think, I think he'll have a lot of opportunity. So I would play Pacheco somewhat close to even money, like I said, minus 130. It's not the good. It is a little juicy, but I think in terms of value, call me crazy. I think I'd prefer to play Pacheco at a minus 130 than a McCaffrey at a minus 225, something like that. I think if I'm playing them straight, because ultimately I do think they have similar outcomes in terms of their ability to score touchdowns. So that's where I lean Pacheco in terms of just a straight anytime touchdown score.
I love it. I love it, especially down by the red zone. Why not? And
Yeah.
at the goal line for sure. Okay, MVP. Give me one that you think and then one that you would gamble on. Like I said, Karlaftis, just because he's Greek. That's the handicap.
I'm gonna go with Kelsey. I think you said propose. What if he retires?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's more likely to retire
Then
than
propose.
propose. Like to be straight up.
But yo, don't you think bro? How many times have we seen celebrity marriages kind of shotgunned? Not saying that she's pregnant or anything, but like just in the sense of, yo, they just started dating and then 3 months later they're married, they're engaged. Like what the hell? So, and apparently this goes back to like September, October that they've been, like who knows, bro? Every vacation I go on, I fall in love immediately. So what? And now Travis Kelce got Taylor.
Here's my perspective on that. Yeah, they've been together for however many months, but when you take into consider, and this is like some Dr. Phil shit here. So, but when you some Oprah shit, right? Here we go. How long have they been together? You want to call it maybe the whole football season or a little less?
Yeah,
When did this start?
I would say like October.
All right. Here's the thing. They're both mega massive stars. So they're not spending as much time with each other as the traditional couple at this age would, right? They're not, she's on tour, he's traveling everywhere week by week, playing different games. They're not spending that time together. So I don't think he's proposing. It's way too soon. It's different if maybe, they're not on tour and like I said, traveling to different cities every week for football games. I think you need to take that time. It's not the duration of the relationship, it's the duration of the relationship in which they're spending time together, which is definitely not that much. So,
No is a
I
lock.
don't know. That's just my.
That's what I got out of that. That's a good breakdown,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
Dr. Imp.
The, I'm just saying, there's no way, like how many like sleepovers have they had already? Probably not many. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I fuck with that.
um, yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you though. In terms of like somewhat of a long shot MVP, um, if you even want to call seven, I see 12-1, 17-1 for Kelsey. I like that a lot. Um, And then did you want someone straight for MVP? Because I can see, I think we touched on this before, like a McCaffrey, similar to a Debo in the sense of obviously he's heavily utilized in the run and the pass game. Without a doubt, I can see him scoring 2 touchdowns. I think his combined all-purpose yards is somewhere around the 140 range because I think I think his rushing total is like 89, 90 yards, and I think his receiving total is somewhere in the low 30s. So if he can somehow get to like 150 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns, um, I can see them without a doubt. The voters and those powers be, give CMC some love for sure.
Dude, I'm surprised knowing you, and this is how I know you've matured and changed, that you haven't given us any Elijah Mitchell anytime touchdowns. If McCaffrey might get hurt, bro. That's a breakdown. How about this one though? On a serious note, right? On a serious note, last touchdown of the game, Elijah Mitchell, 33-1.
Yeah, I love
He
that.
scored the last touchdown of the game in the last game.
Was it because McCaffrey was a little dinged up, or did it? I can't remember. It's because
Yeah,
he was dinged up, right?
McCaffrey got dinged up. Yeah.
What if you did McCaffrey first touchdown, Elijah Mitchell last touchdown?
Oof. Let's see.
I don't even know what that would pay out.
131-1.
Yeah, because this is kind of whether they're blowing them out, right? Well, here's the thing: if they're blowing the team out, they would probably still give the ball to McCaffrey to maybe because in this scenario, if they're blowing them out, maybe he's near some type of Super Bowl record, or I'm not really sure. I don't even actually know how to handle a Super Bowl blowout. They would take the starters out in the event either way.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Okay,
That's a
so
great
yeah,
question. Great question. But hopefully not, man, because then that means that's a good game.
yeah. Well,
Dude, this was fun. We got to wrap
this
it
is
up.
fun.
We got to wrap it up. The chemistry's on point as always. It was great to hear from you.
Always.
Great to see you. I know people are going to be excited to reach out to you and have you on the show. Thanks again, man, for your time. Let the people know where your social media is at.
First name Anthony, ANTHONY, middle initial, last name IMPASTATO at Instagram, on Twitter. Hit me up. Send me some bets. Let's make this work.
You're the fucking man, bro. Let's go. At Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum or at Veterans Minimum. Check out the Teofimo Lopez episode if you didn't last week. Check out Super Bowl storylines if you didn't check that out last week. We got 2 more episodes coming this week. We'll catch you guys next time.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.